In a major move, the US President Donald Trump has signed a new proclamation reinstating his controversial travel ban, this time expanding the list to 12 countries. That includes Myanmar, Afghanistan, Iran, Chad, Somalia, and Yemen. The White House has said that this is being aimed at protecting national security, citing difficulties in properly vetting migrants that are coming from these countries. But what's not on the list is raising enough and more eyebrows, and that is Pakistan, a country long accused of harboring US designated terrorist groups. This comes despite reports earlier that suggested that the Trump administration was considering sweeping travel restrictions that would include Pakistan. Now, what has changed? Remember, earlier in his first term, Trump adopted a tough posture towards Islamabad, criticizing its ties to terrorism. So the question we are now asking viewers is, what has really changed? Why is it that Pakistan is not in this list when you talk about threat emanating from terrorism? And let's get those big questions up on our screens before we get in our guest, Sushant Sareen, as well. Big questions that we are asking. Well, when it comes to Trump's travel ban, is it a security bid? Or is it a bias, the fact that Pakistan is not being included? Secondary, why was terror hub Pakistan spared? What is it that's working and happening in the Oval Office that Pakistan has been spared? And lastly, what explains Trump's new love for Pakistan? And will the US hold Pakistan accountable given the fact that some of the world's most dreaded terrorists are based in Pakistan, operate out of that territory, completely having state patronage? Let's get into Sushant Sareen, Strategic Affairs expert, Senior Fellow at ORF, joining me on the broadcast. Sushant, the question is what many would be baffled by, which is that when you talk about extremism, when you talk about threat, how is it that Pakistan doesn't feature in this list of 12 most dreaded countries?
Look, one of the reasons for that is that the Americans don't anticipate any major threat coming from Pakistan to stateside. And most of the Pakistani terror groups, they are seen as local terror groups, which are only operating against India, to some extent against Afghanistan, maybe a couple of other countries, but they're not directly affecting American interests. And America's interest in terrorism has gone down. They simply do not care about the war on terror as they used to, as long as they were in Afghanistan. And even while they were in Afghanistan, they really did not turn the screws on Pakistan the way they should have. There were constant entreaties to Pakistan to do more, but never any real pressure applied. And in fact, Trump has this new acronym attached to him, TACO, Trump again chickens out, or Trump always chickens out. And when earlier in your report, when you were mentioning that in 2018, Trump had that famous tweet of Trump. But what action did he take against Pakistan? He ended maybe some military training programs and stuff. But did he impose any significant sanctions on Pakistan back then? No. And in fact, later on, he tried to use the Pakistanis to get to talk to the Taliban. So Trump always chickens out. And I think the Pakistanis gamed him well. The other thing which the Pakistanis have managed to do is they've managed to probably appeal to his baser interests or his own greed. Because if you look at some of the deals they have been making with Trumpians,
just that, I was coming to just that it's not about national security, it's not about concerns related to extremism or terrorism. At the end of the day, the Trump administration only cares about one-on-one economic or beneficial deals, even if it means striking it with Pakistan, a known terror haven.
No, but I think there's even a difference in that. America does not gain anything from trading with Pakistan. What is America's trade with Pakistan? The US trade with Pakistan is what? No, maybe $7 or $8 billion, right?
No, I'm referring to the crypto deals that are coming to light where the Trump family is involved.
Yeah, but those are purely personal business deals. So one is the crypto deals. And again, that is like a casino economy. Trump also runs some casinos, or at least he used to at one point of time. So that's a casino part of it. The other part of it is that the Pakistanis have held this carrot in front of these guys that, there are these huge rare earth mineral deposits in Pakistan, and we will give these sweetheart deals to the Americans. Now, the sweetheart deals are probably going to be Trump and his cronies. That's the second. The third is there is this very valuable property that the Pakistanis own in the heart of New York, which is this hotel called the Roosevelt Hotel, which is a dump right now. But there are plans inside Pakistan to either sublet it or get into some kind of a partnership agreement. And in his previous term, there were some reports that Trump's son-in-law, Kushner, was interested in that particular property. Now, all of this is mostly speculation. I think we should say, at least insofar as the Roosevelt Hotel is concerned, some of the other deals are concerned, except for the crypto deal, which is a done deal with Trump cronies and Trump's own Trump again himself. His family has interests in that particular deal. But all of this put together, does this really, upend the relationship with the United States has with India? Unless, of course, Trump is putting his personal and his business interests over American national interests, then it's a completely different matter. But other than that, when you stack up India and Pakistan, I don't see where there is any kind of a comparison between 130, 150 billion dollars of trade that we are doing.
Sushant,
with the
let me ask you this, that at a time when India has been making a very concerted pitch, whether it is about ensuring that funds don't go to Pakistan, whether it's about ensuring that there is global isolation of Pakistan at UN or at various other platforms. How do you think we should now be recalibrating our approach to be able to further isolate Pakistan, ensure that the next time there's a travel ban that the Trump administration considers, it does include Pakistan as well? Indian narrative needs to be able to successfully do that.
Yeah, but I don't think we are as indispensable for the Americans to think that we can force the American hand to include Pakistan. If they do it, they will do it for their own interest, or because somebody high up in the United States has a pet peeve against Pakistan. They're not going to do it because we are asking them to do it. And given the proclivity of the Trump administration for alienating many of its very close allies, we've seen what's been happening with Europe. We've been seeing many European countries or even for that matter, Canada, and frankly, no love lost for Canada, considering the kind of stuff which has been happening from there to India.
Indeed.
But is that the US or this particular administration has been rather obnoxious, if I was to use the word, when it comes to Canada, which is one of its closest partners. So there is this proclivity in the Trump administration, and for us to imagine that we will deliver on our wish list, that's not going to happen. But from what we really also need to rethink is that if we constantly keep giving in to Trump, then are we giving into his baser instincts that he can keep bullying us and we keep taking it?
That's an important point.
And should we not also make use of this acronym TACO, Trump against out, and make him chicken out on some of the things which are of interest to us?
Indeed. I'm going to leave it there. Sushant Sareen, thank you so much for joining me. At the end of the day, with some of the points that Sushant made about how is it that we can ensure that more concerted action is taken against Pakistan is the need of the hour. And in fact, to further that, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor, once again in Washington, he in fact made those scathing remarks against Pakistan, saying that India's response is simply retribution against terrorism, and if Pakistan hadn't reacted, neither would India. Shashi Tharoor, in fact, is leading the delegation in the US, making India's case very clear. I want you to listen in to what exactly he said about Pakistan.
Understood for some time now that India has a very clear position that there will be no talks with a gun pointed at our head. It's not that we can't talk to Pakistan. I was joking the other day, we can speak all the languages they can speak. And we're very happy to dialogue with them in any of those languages. The problem is we will not dialogue with people who are pointing a gun at our heads. I mean, frankly, if your neighbor unleashes his Rottweilers to bite your children, and in fact to do worse to your children, and then says, let's talk, you think you're going to talk to him until he either unleashes those Rottweilers or locks them up in a kennel or puts them to sleep? It's as simple as that. You're not going to talk to people who are pointing guns at your temples. It's not going to happen.
All right, staying with Donald Trump, the clash between Trump and elite U.S. universities is heating up. In a major move, Trump has suspended international student visas for new enrollees at Harvard, effective for an initial 6 months under a new proclamation. The Secretary of State has also been directed to reconsider and consider revoking visas for current Harvard students who fall under national security criteria that's been laid out by the administration. The White House says the step is necessary to protect U.S. interests, citing national security concerns as a justification for barring international students from Harvard. Meanwhile, Columbia University is also under fire. The Department of Education has challenged its accreditation status, alleging the university no longer meets federal standards. The administration has accused Columbia of violating anti-discrimination laws, a move that could have sweeping consequences for colleges and universities, as education experts suggest it eliminates protections for students. Well, in more Trump news, the days after exiting Washington as the chief of Doge, Elon Musk has continued to target President Trump's massive tax and immigration package, better known as the Big Beautiful Bill, escalating his attacks and urging lawmakers to kill the bill. This came hours after several government agencies projected that the bill would add more than $2.4 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. Not just Musk, many hardline Republicans have also ramped up their attacks against the sprawling $4 trillion mega package that Donald Trump's administration has come out with.